Hey, it's Andrew Keddy here at Royal LePage Real Estate, and in today's video, we're going to be going through the top 10 things that you can do to potentially increase your property value. And while you're here, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to True Real Estate for all kinds of great tips on the local real estate market. Okay, so before we get into the top 10 things that you can do to potentially increase your property value, I want to share with you a little story. A couple years ago, I got a call from a gentleman who wanted to sell his house, and he was planning a $60,000 kitchen renovation right before selling. And so he called me to say, Andrew, is this worth it? Does it make sense to spend $60,000? Am I going to get my money back? And I gave him the same chart, the same details that I'm going to give you in this video. And ultimately, we determined that that was not the best way for him to be spending his money right before trying to put his property on the market. So what we did was we did a review of his situation and we determined if it made sense. In this video, you can use the information that we're going to provide to help you determine whether or not it makes sense to do some of the renovations that you might be thinking about planning and whether or not the numbers make sense for your situation. But if you need some help, make sure you go over to andrewkeddy.com to book a free real estate review where we can go through some of the things you might be planning and determine whether or not those renovations make sense for your situation. Number 10, if you add a pool, typically that's about 2.5% of an increase to your property value. If you add a deck, that's about a 2.5% increase to your property value. If you do a paint job, that usually will add about 5% to your property value. So that's one of the best value items that you can do when you consider the cost of paint versus an increase to your property value. So for that last one, we were talking about exterior painting. Interior painting, again, a fantastic return on your investment. Usually you get about a 5% increase when you do interior painting. So 5% exterior, 5% interior. Number 6, we have landscaping. So landscaping usually will add about 7.5% to your property value. So all those shrubs, getting the lawn done all nice, all that curb appeal, about 7.5%. Great return on your investment. As we get to number 5, we're talking some of the really high value stuff. So adding a basement apartment potentially can add about 10% to your property value. Next, making your property more ecological. So things like updating the windows and replacing the heating system with newer, more efficient heating systems, that can add potentially up to 10% to your property value. On to the top 3, 12.5% by finishing your basement. So you add that rec room, you add that extra bathroom, you finish the basement, on average, potentially about 12.5% increase to your property. Number 2, bathroom renovations. So they say kitchens and bathrooms sell houses. So 12.5% when you do significant bathroom renovations to your property. And number 1, also at about 12.5% potentially, as determined by Royal LePage Canada, when you redo the kitchen's one of the most important rooms in the house, if not the most important room, and when you redo that kitchen, you typically see the greatest return on your investment. All right, 2 more things I want to leave you with. If you are tearing out what's already there, you are tearing out a little bit of potential value. So if you're tearing out a $10,000 kitchen to put in a $20,000 kitchen, you're not going to get as much of your money back as if maybe you just sold with the $10,000 kitchen and saved yourself on the huge renovation. So you always have to consider what's coming out versus what's going in. And that's part of what our review can be all about when you book it over at andrewkeddy.com. All right, and lastly, all these numbers are based on national statistics and averages. They vary province to province, community to community, and so it's always best to do an assessment for your specific community, your specific neighborhood, your specific property and situation. So hop on over to andrewkeddy.com, book your free real estate review, and we'd be happy to go through that with you. My name is Andrew Keddy. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, and I look forward to working with you.